Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. I hope everyone is doing okay. Here we are again. It was 90 degrees today, my car told me. So it was hot again. This video is only the strong survive and 10 tips to make sure that's you. So as a lot of you know, I spent many years studying nursing. I did hours of free nursing, tons of it. So when I was a student, the first thing we learned was you want to assume that everybody has the most contagious stuff in the hospital and you're going to catch it. And that's going to keep you safe. And you're not going to take any unnecessary chances of picking up anything. You're going to wear your gloves, you're going to wear your mask, you're going to put your hazard material outfits on if you need it. And so that's how you stay safe. Every minute at work you assume you're going to hurt your neck and your back, so you just train yourself to be very careful. Another thing I caught myself doing today when I was walking, if I automatically hold my breath if something, I learned to do that. A long time ago in the day, that's what the nurses did. They held their breath. So, okay, so we're going to go through 10 tips and we're going to examine these and we're going to use this strategy of assuming that everyone has a sickness and we're going to catch it. But we're going to go through 10 points. 1. Assume that a deadly second wave is on the way. So if we assume that a deadly second wave is either on the way or already here, then we're gonna, if everywhere we are, we assume that everybody's got the corona, then we're gonna be a lot more careful than someone who thinks it's over there in Europe, it's down the street. We assume that the deadly second wave is coming or is already here. So that way we're going to keep our social distance. We're going to wear our masks up over our mouth and nose. We're going to wash our hands. You know, I wear gloves because, you know, I hate germs. Okay. And so basically some people are not going to survive, which I hate to say that, but it's true. Some people are not going to survive. I hope that's none of my followers. Some of the strains are very virulent and some of them are not. They're weak. So if you do catch it, you have no way of knowing if you're catching the virulent strain or, you know, the mild strain. So we're just going to assume that we're not going to catch any strain. Okay, so now 2 things to be avoided. The people who say there's nothing to worry about, and then the alarmists, the sky is falling, America is on the brink of destruction and the Lord is coming soon. We're going to be caught up any day in the heavens and everyone else is going to be left down here to suffer unspeakable hell on earth. So we kind of want to avoid that thinking. Nobody knows exactly when the day of the Lord is coming, but the Bible says no one's going to know. They're going to be buying, selling, marrying, giving in marriage. So we want to avoid the two extremes. But on the other hand, we want to be careful. Okay, 1, stockpile food. Why should we stockpile food? Well, because just like we're assuming everyone has the COVID, we're assuming there's not going to be any food. So we're stockpiling food because, you know, we're preparing just in case so that we don't go hungry. We're going to store water. Why? Because we're going to assume that the water is going to be contaminated somehow. So if we have water, you know, then we can survive inside with our food and with our water. They had brain-eating amoeba in Texas. That was not good. A 6-year-old boy died. Okay, number 2, hoard small bills and change because it might be hard to get small bills and change, and then that way you can make exact change if you need something, and just start stockpiling it up a little by little, $1 here, 50 cents, 20 cents, whatever you can hoard. And do not lend money. So you might be saying, wow, you're a miser, why not do not lend money? Well, because what if you can't get yours out of the bank? What if inflation starts spiking and your money doesn't go far enough? So we're assuming, we're going to need our money. So we're not lending our money. Keep your car full of gas. That's because just in case we have to evacuate, we have to get in our cars and we have to drive out of the area. Stay in the house on Halloween. This year I think that's a good strategy. Like if workers, the dark side workers might want to start early on Halloween, causing trouble. And I wouldn't open my door. If someone knocked on my door, I just wouldn't open my door, not this year. If you want to put some candy outside the front door, that's okay. But from now on, for the rest of the year, if someone's if you're not expecting someone, don't answer the door. And don't say, who is it? Just don't answer the door. And on Halloween, you open the door, it's a lot easier for someone to get into your house, so just don't do that. Also, I wouldn't go, I used to work in the shopping centers, passing out big bowls of candy. I would avoid the shopping centers this year. I would avoid all being outside after dark this year on Halloween. We had my son's best friend murdered on Halloween, so for me, Halloween has really lost its luster. Okay, now, stay in the house before and after the election, just in case. For like the same reason as Halloween, all we need is some nut to attack us, So I would just stay close and inside my house just before and after the election. If I can, I want to cast my ballot. I want to go cast my ballot. But if it's starting to look crazy, I'm going to mail it. So 5, you can mail your. I'm not big on that. I want to make sure my vote is cast. But basically, as citizens, all we can really do is vote. Okay, buy your food and gifts now for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay, so what I did, and don't spend too much. What I did was I got a little box and I put various things in there that I thought I might need. I have a cherry cheesecake. I have a strawberry cheesecake. I just bought these for my son to eat, but we could eat them. I have some pumpkin pie. I bought 50% off. I have some pie crust, some maraschino cherries, 2 boxes of chocolate, but I did see Target has chocolate chips on sale, some strawberry jello. Here's 2 cans of cranberry because that would be a bummer if I couldn't get any. I have some green beans and some mushroom soup. And then I did buy French fried onions, and I've been eating them on my salad. I bought some instant mashed potatoes, some chicken stuffing. Some of this stuff I just found around the house. And then I had Rice Krispies, and I bought some marshmallows because I like to have chili and marshmallow treats, Rice Krispie treats. And then yesterday I bought one of these turkey loaves just in case to make sure. So what I did was I just stockpiled up a little cheap food just in case. So I'm pretty good to go as far as Thanksgiving. And if something happened, like if there was a lot of protests or something, then I would have my food for Thanksgiving. And then on Christmas, I'm spending very little money. I'm hoarding all my money. So if I knew something was going to come up, I would want to keep all the money I possibly could. Okay, expect more riots or protests if they were already in your area. So they were already in my area. They were like a block from my house. They were tearing up the bonds. They were all over La Mesa. They were up at the shopping center. So I would assume the closer we get to the election that, you know, we might have some more riots and looting. Okay, so now 7, do not participate in any riots, looting, and protests. So you might go, why? Well, this goes to why I don't want to expose myself to the corona, because if I keep myself safe, chances are I'm not going to catch it. So I would expect to be the one shot in the head with a beanie bullet. I would expect to be arrested and thrown in jail with people who might have a COVID. I would expect disturbing the peace or whatever the charges are, looting, to be on my record. And another thing is if someone was passing out the baseball bats and someone put one in your hand, you could be shot. So just don't go there. Okay, now 8, avoid crowds and clusters to avoid the exposure to the COVID. I was at Walmart and I needed to go to the restroom, of course, and it was closed, so I went to go upstairs and the elevator or the escalator didn't work. So I thought I'll take the elevator, and there was like 15 people, and I thought, are you kidding? That is a cluster. So just don't get in any clusters. That goes for like, you're here, 2 checkers on each side and people in back, and you'll see clusters of 3 and 4 people, you know, 3 and 4 deep. Don't get into those. Okay, buy 1 or 2 cans of food each day. So there's 30 days in a month, and you buy 1 can of food each day, and then you would have 30 cans of food that you could get by on. I would buy soup and chili, that kind of stuff. Okay, so now we want to be watchful. Okay, so I am also an EMT, yes. And the first thing we learn, one of the first things, is you don't jump out of the back of an ambulance and run into the house to save people, because you might get yourself killed. You stop and you look around. You survey the scene so that you don't get killed. So here's what we're surveying the scene for. Be watchful for people blocking the entrances and exits, because then you cannot easily get out of places. Okay, groups of people blocking the aisles. Like there'll be clusters, like 3, 4 clusters, and they don't get out of the way. You go up and you go, excuse me, and then they get out of the way. You go up, excuse me, and this goes on and on. It's incredibly unsafe, and don't do it. Another thing is avoid when you see people blocking the food. You want to look at food, but they're blocking very large areas of, you know, where you're trying to get food. That is not good. Okay, we're surveying the scene for no masks, no gloves, no social distancing, and another thing that needs to be avoided is groups because of hazing. So you're walking along and all of a sudden you find yourself in the middle of a group. And in California, that's extremely unsafe. So you want to survey the scene, and you want to avoid that. Now, another thing we're watching for is an aggressive vibe. I don't care where it comes from, a street person, a woman, a man, a group of people. You want to exit that area. Okay, now, these may sound paranoid, but they're not. Solar attacks. Okay, the best thing you can do if you don't know when's coming, California was essentially shut down by fires. But in a solar attack, it would be a lumen attack. And they would go, oh, you know, that just came from the sun. Well, maybe, but maybe not. So the only thing one could do is wear sunglasses. If you live in one of these hot areas, wear sunglasses, cover your head, crouch down and run for cover. But if you're expecting them, you're less apt to be injured badly. We're watching for the grand solar minimum. Why the grand solar minimum is bad is because that can destroy the crops. You know, there can be floods when the snow melts. You know, a lot of people are worried about the oil. The bigger concern is food shortage. Weather events, you know, floods, hurricanes, you know, anything to do with weather. We had extreme hot weather here in Arizona as well. Earthquakes, and then we had fires that were really, really bad. So this is my tips for surviving the rest of the year. I mean, even if you only make use of a few of them, like stockpiling the food, surveying the scene, watching for these certain kind of people, avoiding crowds, you know, careful and prepare for the holidays, especially Halloween. Did you guys see the Joker? Yeah, you know what I would expect? That is what I would expect. That was a good movie, but I would hate to really live it. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.